entertainment of our meeting are prepared speeches. Our first speaker has worked in the pizza industry for 30 years. He's also been a speaker at the International Speakers Expo in Las Vegas for 12 years. He attributes his skills as a presenter to Toastmasters so that he could present his talks to the industry that he loves. Recently, he has completed one of the items on his bucket list, to take the New York City pizza tour. Doesn't that sound delicious? He's chosen the Advanced Manual Speaking to Inform, Project 1, Speech to Inform, to tell us about his tour. With a speech entitled, Pull My Finger, please welcome Advanced Communicator Silver, Dan Collier.
Madam Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, pull my finger. My dad's stentorian voice crashed through the din of Lombardi's Pizzeria in New York City 3 weeks ago. Silence came over the whole restaurant as everybody's attention was drawn to him and to our table. Well, I had met Scott from New York Pizza Tours at the International Pizza Expo many, many years ago, and his passion for his business of giving people tours in New York of all of the pizzerias inspired me to put his tour on my bucket list. That is something an adventure that I'd like to accomplish before I kick the bucket. So I put that on the bucket list and have been speaking with it to Sheila, my wife, for years. And when we booked this tour, my goal was to simultaneously visit with my dad, who lives 3,000 miles away, and to do the New York City pizza tour. Now we're sitting in Lombardi's, and it's not as embarrassing as you might imagine. My dad has a neat little trick where he tucks his earlobe inside of itself. Therefore, his whole ear disappears from the side of his head. And when you pull his finger, his ear pops out. So sure enough, Scott from the pizza tours walked up in the room, pulled my dad's finger, his ear popped out. Very amusing. But on with the pizza tour. Now, we visited many pizzerias in New York City. There are 8 million people in New York City, and they all love pizza. But there are 3 that stood out. And I'm going to tell you about those 3 that stood out to me as we toured the city. Now, the first one was Lombardi's Pizza, where we were sitting. Lombardi's happens to be the very first pizzeria opened in America. In 1908, they built Lombardi's Pizza, and they are still cooking out of the pizza oven that they built in 1908. It's got the plaque right on the front of the oven. Now, this is not a traditional oven that you have ever seen. This oven is coal-fired. It is the size of this room. The oven peel has to reach pizza back by Wayne. And sure enough, that's how long the oven peel is. In fact, when they move the pizza to the front and they extend the oven peel back, it goes into the dining room. And the waiters and waitresses have to dodge the oven peel. You want to talk about culture and history? This was just absolutely fun. So I'd like to tell you about each of these pizzerias, the ovens, the pizza, and the pizzaiolas that run and own these restaurants. Well, we were in Lombardi's, and after the amusing incident with my dad, we got a chance to try their pizza. Now, they serve a traditional Neapolitan pizza. Neapolitan is a very basic pizza with the ingredients water, sugar, salt, flour, and yeast. That's it. It's cooked in this coal-fired oven, and I picture it's almost like a locomotive. They are shoveling coal underneath this oven, as you would imagine a locomotive. And it heats up that oven and cooks the pizza at 800 to 900 degrees in 2 to 3 minutes. Wow. In fact, at 3.5 minutes, it's charred. Now, this oven was not designed as a pizza oven. It was designed as a bakery oven to bake bread. But the problem with baking bread is you want to bake the whole bread, not just the bottom. So pizza was used to suck the heat out of the stone so that when you put the bread on, it was protected and would not burn on the bottom. That's how pizza started. So we take these pizzas out of the oven, and you want to talk about flavor. I could just take, it's the same recipe from 1908, just a cheese, margarita pizza, oh, absolute flavor just bursting in your mouth. Now, we only got to try one slice of pizza at each pizza place. Why? Because we had a lot to visit. And we wanted to try them all. Well, as we left Lombardi's, we traveled along the waterfront, and I was able to look out over the harbor and see Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. Now, 1 in 4 Americans can trace their roots back to that island. From 1892 to 1954, it was the busiest immigration inspection station in America. And I imagine my grandparents going through there, getting their immigration papers, looking up at the Statue of Liberty, speaking with her silent lips, holding her torch next to the golden doors as they entered this country. We cruised down around the south of the island, and we came to South Manhattan Island, that is. We came to J&B Pizza. That stands for Joey and B. Now, all of these pizzerias that I'm sharing with you have generations in the family, at least 3 generations in the family of these pizzerias. And Joe and Vinny are no exception. And they are the grumpiest 2 guys in New York City. Why do I say grumpy? They come over and they just drop the pizza in front of you. They don't care. There's no warm California smiles going on here. This is the grumpiest look. But you know, the nicest guys, they just don't know how to smile. And they serve a Sicilian pizza. This takes 30 minutes in the oven to cook. Thick Sicilian pizza. And different from the dough over at Lombardi's, it has all kinds of flavors in it. Garlic, oregano, olive oil. It's got everything in there. The sauce, instead of being a traditional basic tomato sauce, has all bursting with spices and flavor. And the cheeses, 6 different cheeses on top of the pizza. So Sicilian pizza has lots of flavor. 30 minutes to bake. And their oven is a deck oven, and there are 4 decks rotating like this. So as it comes around, they put the pizza on, and maybe it's done when it comes again, maybe not, and they have 4 decks where they're putting pizzas on and alternate. A deck is a sheet of stone that is heated up, so you have the heat in the oven cavity as well as the heat from the stone. Well, as we left there, we passed One World Trade Center. And as you know, just a few weeks ago, that was reopened to the public, or opened to the public. Also known as Freedom Tower. It rises 1,776 feet in the sky, symbolizing the Declaration of Independence of America. We passed that one over into Brooklyn, and we came to Sam's Pizza. Now, Sam's Pizza is traditional New York pizza. What I mean by that is it's wood fire. And the wood fire oven is such that you've got this pile of wood in there creating intense 1,000-degree heat. But it's all coming from that wood. So you have to constantly move the pizza around because the heat is so uneven in that oven. For the 2 minutes that it's cooking in that oven, it's being moved constantly. Now, this pizziola in there, his name was Louis. And Louis was absolutely the funniest pizziola I've ever met. I just wanted to bait him on a little bit. I said, Louis, how come you don't put pineapple on your pizza? He says, my grandfather didn't put pineapple on a pizza. My father didn't put pineapple on a pizza. Pineapple don't go on no pizza. It's those fruitcakes from California have been messing up pizza since the beginning of time. I had a great time with my bucket list. But take a look at your bucket list for adventures that you may want to try, and book them today. You'll discover the flavors, the people, and the history. Now, you pull my dad's finger, you get an ear popping out of his head. You pull my finger, you get a pizza story.